Hello YouTube. So today we're going to talk about the new Yi Nightscape dash camera, which has the cool new Sony Starvis backlit CMOS sensor. And we're going to talk about why this may be the right time to upgrade your current dash cam, or if you're looking to get into market, why this may be the clear winner. Now, I've had dash cams for many years. I got hit by a car. I wasn't at fault. Went to the police, went to the insurance, and they said, well, you know, it will be an at-fault accident on your license because there was no independent witnesses, and it's he said, she said. So ever since then, I was like, you know what? I need a solution to this so this doesn't happen again, and that was a dash cam, and I've been rocking them literally every day in every car ever since. If you drive a car, you need a dash cam. For the $60 investment, it could save you thousands. Now, many years ago, I discovered that Xiaomi is literally the best in the business. A lot of those knockoff brands, I mean, all these cameras seem to share similar sensors and chipsets, but the Xiaomi brand or the Yi brand have always had reliable products. Even SJ Cam, you know, is hit or miss in my opinion compared to either a Xiaomi or a Yi. Now this Yi dash cam, it's probably my favorite, even though it's older than the Mijia. It's been rock solid. It's never really let me down, except on those rare occasions where it's super cold and it won't start in the morning. Like we're talking like negative 15 degrees Celsius. This camera has been rock solid. Now my wife's dash cam died a few years ago, so I took the opportunity to buy to try out the Mijia by Xiaomi. So this one was in my car, this one was in my wife's car, and both have been working fairly well over the years, you know, without much issue. The Yi is now getting old enough where the battery is in decline, and it doesn't last very long after you turn off the vehicle. So I'm looking to now upgrade this. And because I've been looking to upgrade, I've been looking at all the different types of dash cams that are around. I mean, you can get 2K dash cams, you can get 4K action cameras that have dash cam capabilities. Yi has a awesome 2K dash cam. It's called the Yi Ultra. It's also really expensive, but I was thinking to myself, you know, what do I really need from a dash cam? What are some of the issues that I've had over the past 6 or 7 years of my current dash cams that can be solved today in the market? So, have I ever had an issue where I needed more pixels, where 1080p was not enough? And I'm going to say no. I've never had an issue where 1080p was not enough for my dash cam application. So what about batteries? Have I ever had an issue where because my dash cams either battery capacity or because it just had a battery not a capacitor has given me trouble? And the answer to that is yes. Many times in the winter, like I said earlier, when it hits negative 10, negative 15, negative 20 degrees, battery powered dash cam may not turn on, and it may, you know, be finicky till the car warms up. And to me, that's a problem, because if you don't have a dash cam running and you're driving the car, you have the potential. The potential is there for you not to capture an incident, and that's the whole purpose for having these cameras. So what's the other big thing that I've noticed has been an issue with these dash cams? And that is driving at night. You know, I do probably 40% of my driving at dusk, dawn, or in the evening. And sometimes, like, these are both very good options for nighttime driving, but it doesn't capture everything. I'm looking for something that has better low light or no light performance. So when it came to purchasing a new camera, there's a couple things that this Nightscape camera does that the other ones the claims to do that the other ones don't, and that is with this new backlit CMOS sensor. Now, I'm not going to pretend to know how it works, so I'm just going to read the little blurb on the Sony website Basically, the Starvis sensor was designed for CCTV, like security camera type of applications. And right from the website itself, it says, unlike front illuminated type image sensors, the image is acquired through the back side where there are no obstacles such as wiring or circuits, so a wider range of light is collected onto the photodiode. This achieves a higher sensitivity. Moreover, it uses the very first pixel specifically developed for surveillance use in a back illuminated structure. Okay, so yeah, they've developed a sensor that is supposed to excel in low light areas, which in the security camera industry would be very important. And so good on the dash cam industry for now bringing those over to us consumers. The other thing that this camera does, or this camera should solve, is that it does not have a traditional battery. It has a capacitor, and because it has a capacitor, it offers a much wider range of temperature stabilities. Now I'm going to take a look and see what it's listed here on the website. So it says it can go down to negative 22 degrees Fahrenheit or up to 185 degrees Fahrenheit, which is, you know, a huge range. For me, I wouldn't be affected by the higher end, but I have definitely seen the lower end here in Canadian winter. So to me, low light performance and capacitor trumps higher pixel rates in some of the other options. That's why I went with this camera. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up, do an unboxing here. Seems like a fairly quality box. It says Yi Technology on the side, Yi at the top, Nightscape dash camera. This device complies with blah blah blah. Maximum resolution 1080p, shows the other available resolutions. Has a mic, encrypted Wi-Fi, power port, all those good things. Smartphone platform for Android or iOS. Yeah, some other nonsense that we don't really need to waste time on reading. So let's open it up. Okay, so it has the same solid, well-built feeling as the Xiaomi and the Yi Dash, Smart Dash. It is very light. They're claiming that this camera was significantly smaller because it had the capacitors, but in all reality, it's pretty much the exact same size as the other ones here. I don't really see where we're saving in size, like especially since it's only sitting underneath your rear view mirror in most cases. Yeah, there's no real size savings with this camera, which doesn't really matter to me. That's not why I bought it, like I said. So it's got a barcode. Looks like it's got a reset button. It's got front facing mics. I'm guessing that these here are for speaker for heat. It's got micro USB for power. It's got the SD card slot. Let's continue to see what else is in the box. Got some instruction manuals, warranty. I think that's a Yi sticker. Okay, it's got a 3M sticker mount. Now, to me, this is a big deal because a lot of them don't have it, and you have to spend an extra $2 or $3 to get it. If you are buying a dash camera, whatever one it is, don't rely on the suction mounts. They'll lose suction, you'll damage your camera. Always try and get a sticker one. So yeah, I'm glad that that they're shipping with it now, because my original ones did not. Comes with a 90-degree micro USB cable. It seems like there's quite a bit of cable there. And there is a little car power adapter to USB. Now, if you are buying a dash cam, I highly recommend that that you do hardwire the camera to avoid these cables accidentally being pulled out, and have a nice clean installation in your car. What I've done is I've got one of those fuse piggyback adapters, so that there's no cutting of wires. You just pop in the adapter into the fuse adapter into your current fuse box, probably on the accessory fuse. You stick that fuse into the fuse adapter, and then it'll provide power out to your dash camera. I can link to a few of them on Amazon. There is also the new OBD 2-port dash cam powering, I don't know how to explain it, dash cam power supplies. I've seen those popping up here and there. Now, I am a little bit leery of using the OBD 2 port, but it is a very simple way to grab some power and to have your dash cam look professionally installed. So we're gonna see if this turns on. Not sure if it's got any charge whatsoever. Okay, probably has no charge. So let me grab a micro USB cable here. Okay, so it's got power, turns on. Welcome to Ye Dashcam Nightscape. Next, what's today's date? It is crap. Okay, time is set. No SD card found. That's fine. I haven't put one in yet. So let's see some of the options. There's record, playback, mic on, mic off. Let's go to settings. So right now it's at 1080p, 30 frames per second. You can go 1080p, 60 frames per second, 720p, 30 frames per second. I'm not quite sure why we need wide dynamic range. I'll play with the different types of settings and see what they produce. LCD brightness, LCD auto off, standby, time settings, Wi-Fi connections, QR code for the app, G sensor, driver assist system. Hopefully, from what I've heard from some of the reviews, this is actually kind of a pain in the ass for this new Nightscape camera. Hopefully you'll be able to turn it off. Driving reports, sound levels, key sound, startup sound, device info, format, and factory reset. I'm going to see what version ships. Version 1.01.01 for the firmware. For the firmware version that's currently out, I have no idea. I'd have to check that out in the app and see if there is an update. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a review of the different videos from these cameras. I'm going to include it in this video that you're watching here today. So I'm going to get all three of these cameras plus my GoPro and a flashlight, and I'm going to do some daytime filming and some nighttime filming, and we'll put them all together and see if it's worth the upgrade. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some double-sided tape. I'm going to tape the dash cams plus
my Hero 5 session all at the same settings on this hockey stick for good measure, and take some sample footages. I decided not to do it inside of a car just because there's other factors that affect the video quality, such as like how dirty the windshield is, and plus it's not very practical to mount, you know, 3 different cameras or 4 different cameras to the windshield to drive around with. So yeah, I'm gonna mount these to the hockey stick and take a couple different scenery shots, and we'll see how it all looks. Okay, so now that I've got all the cameras mounted to the hockey stick, I am going to rig up probably a battery pack so that I can turn them all at the same time and take some scenery shots. Okay, so I'm about to plug in the cameras. I've got them set up here on this nice little rig. I'll be plugging it into some power and taking some nice shots of the scenery back there. And then I'll probably post zoom into it to see what the different details are in varying light conditions. So yeah, let's see how they perform. Believe it or not, the new Nightscape is pure junk. I couldn't believe the first test. That's how bad it was that I had to do a second one, and the second one confirmed it. Now what happens is in low light conditions, the video becomes blurry and unusable. I tried changing the setting. There's only really 2 settings to be had on that video. One is with wide dynamic range at 30 frames per second, and the other is 60 frames per second with wide dynamic range off. That's at 1080p. Both those settings produce the same crappy quality video. During the day, the video looks great, but in dusk to night, it goes completely blurry and unusable. I mean, the highlights look good, the landscape looks good. It does certainly allow more light into the sensor with the backlit LED. So on the surface, yeah, it does seem to perform well under low light conditions, but that's not the whole story. You need to be able to use that footage for the practical application, in this case a car accident or grabbing a license plate or whatnot, and this camera simply can't do that. Maybe it'll be something that'll be fixed with the future firmware. I've checked often and nothing new has been released yet. But surprisingly, out of all the cameras, my personal favorite is the Yi Smart Dash camera. If you have one of those, like mine, that's 6 or 7 years old, I would keep it because it's producing better videos than some of the new ones. In my case, that camera is the battery's starting to fail, so that's why I need to look for a replacement. But yeah, I'm absolutely shocked and surprised that you would release that camera to the public, especially with how poor of an upgrade it is. System is on it. Now, if you're using this camera for any length of time, let's say you have a 2-hour commute, at some point it'll start to tell you to pull over and take a rest. Now, I do appreciate what they're trying to do here, but in a future upgrade or update, you really need to disable that feature. The other thing that this camera has not done, which I've read in other reviews, is it has not lost its date or time yet. Now, this camera does have a capacitor as opposed to a traditional battery. So what I have found is that once you turn the car on, it does not stay on for any length of time, which could be bad. I mean, if you're in a car accident and power is cut, this camera is going to turn off. There are no settings to delay the turn off time. So yeah, that is another downside to this camera. I am probably going to see if I've missed my return window for Amazon, so I am probably going to see if I can get that extended and send it back. Maybe I'll check out the Ultra dash cam, the one that I've been eyeing for a long time but never pulled the trigger on, because that one has actually come down in price to around the $70 to $80 mark on AliExpress. So I hope you enjoyed my review of this camera. I definitely do not recommend it at this point. You know, maybe you will improve some of these low light issues in the future, but yeah, this is definitely not a good buy at this point, and this one is going back to Amazon. Thank you very much, and please take the time to subscribe.